Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to have the next side-by-side of my two base porters. Both of these are using Chocolate Malt. The one on my left is Crystal 40. The one on my right is Crystal 60. Again, this is the second tasting, so this is 2 months after they've been bottled. They were both bottled on 12/18, which is weird, and I'm not sure how, but this bottle says 12/22. So that's kind of weird, and I went back, I actually started the intro and had to stop it, but on the actual paper, I did bottle it on 12/18, so I don't know why I put the 22nd on there. Because I did check this one on 12/15 because the gravity was a little bit lower than what Beersmith wanted. So usually what you can do is when you're ready to bottle, check it 3 days prior, then check it 2 days prior, then 1 day prior, just to make sure it's finished. And that's what I did with this. I brewed it, the 15th was bottling day, so I checked it and I'm like, man, that's, you know, it was 4.91. So I let it go until the next day I checked it. It was still the same. I checked it on the 18th and it was still the same, so I bottled it. So that is one tip that you can check if you do have directions or you use Beersmith or whatever, Brewer's Friend, and they give you an ABV, and you want to make sure you hit that. Check it 3 days prior, 2 days prior, 1 day prior. Then if that gravity settles down, if you get the same readings, and then you can bottle it. So I'm going to go ahead and move these off. So the 40L version was 4.81%, and like I said, the 60L version was 4.91%. Now from this, I'm sure you can see the 40 version has a better head. I think it's overcarbed just a little, even though I did use 7 carbonation tablets in each one. They're the small pearl ones, but at least for the head, I would rather have a little head on there, so I would go with the 40L version. The next weird part about this is the color of these two. The Crystal 60 should be darker, and I believe in the first round or first tastings it was. I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and watch that. But if you want to check it out again, there will be a card up here at the end that you can go check that out. But if we look at these, the Crystal 60 is lighter, and you can tell. The only thing I can think of is that the 40L version is overcarbed, so when I opened it, that carbonation went down and picked up the bottom and flipped it up, and that's why it's darker. That's the only thing I could think, because if you have a bottle, especially like an IPA or something, and you know it's overcarbed and you open it, you can actually watch everything come up and start stirring up in there. And that's the only thing I can think. But for the color, I would take any whatever one. You could say a brown porter, you could say it's a porter. To me, as long as it's in that brown to black category, I'm fine with it. So let's go ahead and smell. I'm starting to get more of the chocolate, like more coffee chocolate off this one. The 60 version smells a little sweeter, like a medium grain sweetness in there. The chocolate's there, but it's very low compared to that graininess, where you can definitely tell in the 40 that chocolate's coming out. A little bit more of that roasted note is in the smell of the 60 versus the 42. Yeah, definitely get more chocolate out of the 40 version. For the smell, I would go with the 40, because if I'm looking for a porter, you know, it's either going to be coffee, or it could be roast, or it could be chocolate. I don't really want to smell or have the malt, the dominant smell. So let's go ahead and taste. More roasted malt with that bitterness, just like in the regular review for it. That bitterness is definitely dominant in the back end of that taste of the 40. I do get the roasted malt. The 60 version is definitely thicker, but I think that's because it's undercarbed. Usually when it's carbed or overcarbed, it's going to feel lighter because all those bubbles. And so when it's undercarbed, it's not going to have those bubbles, so the body's going to be perceived thicker. Is what I would go with. Yeah, that roasted bitterness. I wouldn't say burnt malt, but definitely that bitterness from that malt. I'm guessing is what it is. I mean, because they're both using the same yeast, both identical recipe except for the 40 and the 60. I mean, the 40 is 0.1% lower in ABV, which should give it more sweetness, but that bitterness does overpower it. Where that malt, sweeter malt, comes out of that 60. I think for me, if somebody gave me these two beers and said you have to drink one, I would go for the 60L version. I don't want that much bitterness. I know there has to be some to help balance out those darker malts that are used, but I think that 40 version has a little too much bitterness in it, at least for me. Yeah, it might have a little bit more sweet chocolate in there, but I don't want that bitterness. Let me know in the comments down below, would you rather have your porter a little bitter with more flavor, or less bitter with a little less flavor in there? But for me, yeah, I would have to go with the 60 version just because of that bitterness. And again, I'll have to go back and look at the first reviews of this to see which one I picked out of there. I'm guessing it was the 60, but I could be wrong, because you would think that that Crystal 60 would add more roast and more sweetness to it, but you never know. So yeah, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up and check out some more videos over here. And until next time, happy brewing.